Well, good afternoon, Pipers, on the YTPC, and good afternoon, Rumble. This is Bass Piper. Welcome back to the channel. Hey guys, I'm going to look at starting my series today, and I don't have a pipe or a cigar or anything today for this episode of this particular series, simply because, as I said, I'm trying to give a few more days to get the old gum back here healed up. And the stitches have finally fallen out, or the sutures. They fell out, I think, Wednesday afternoon, and so that was a good thing, but I'm just giving it a few more days to heal up. But I told you a few weeks ago I wanted to just come and start a little series. I don't know how long they'll be. I don't know how many of them I will do in this series of videos. It might just be a few. It might be 20 or 30 or 40 or 50. Who knows? I don't know. But I wanted to call the series Senior Moments. And the more I thought about that after I mentioned it, you know, we could also, in parentheses, put it out there as if I had to do it over again. Or it could just be grandpa-isms. Something that you would maybe want to share, or I would share with my grandboys. I got 3 grandboys, 1 9, 1 8, and 1 6. And but this series that I'm going to talk about basically will deal with the younger Pipers. Now I know with our channel and this particular channel, you know, you got to be 18 years old or older because it's a pipe-related, cigar-related type channel. But maybe some things that I have to share would help some of the young bucks out there, and even some of the young ladies, if we have any, that may come across this channel. But even for some of the older guys, now, Bass Piper is 61 years old, okay? And to some of you all that are on the YTPC, I know to you, I'm a young buck as well. But to a lot of them, I'm getting to be an older fart. And so, but there's things that I've learned through life, and I know you have too. And guys that are about my age group, you can probably relate to some of this that I'm going to say. Now, what I'm going to say in my series of different videos, I'll just go ahead and preference it. It's my belly button opinion and take on things that I've seen in life, and my life personally. And so everybody's different, and everybody will have maybe a little take on something. And you might say, well, Bass Piper, I agree with this with you, but you know, I had this situation happen, and that's going to happen. Everybody's got different avenues and takes. This is just coming from Bass Piper's senior moments of life that I've learned and seen over the years. Now that I'm getting to be a senior, or going that direction, whatever age group you have to be called a senior. But maybe it could be some help for some of the younger guys as they're starting out in their 20s and even in their 30s. And they're just dealing with life. And I hope the hat don't bother you. I got my little Western hat on here just to keep the glare down. I'm here in the cigar lounge. And I had to put a light on above just to kind of help balance out some things. And I got a little whiting going on over here in this area, but that's the blinds, man. I can't do nothing about that. But I wanted to get on here and just share some things and share my heart that I hope that maybe it would help somebody, help some people. You know, if it don't, then just don't worry about it. And if you find the series boring, well, just cut it off and come back when I'm doing something other than a senior moment or having a senior moment. But anyway, I want to start this series off today with a title of Find Your Passion. Find your passion. If I had to do it over again, I would advise my grandboys and even my son, and of course my son's 37 years old, and I've talked to him, over the years, and I would say, find your passion. It's important to find what you would do in life once you're out of high school. Most of us, when we come out of high school, we didn't know what we were going to do. We didn't have a clue. We just flipped a coin and go, okay, heads or tails. All right, call it. And I'll just go this direction. There are some young people that, from their background and how they grew up, they knew where they wanted to go. Some knew that straight out of high school they were going to go to college, they were going to do this, and I was going to do this, and then I was going to go get my master's, and then I was going to go get my doctorate, and then I'm going to go do this for the rest of my life, for the next 40, 50 years. But most of us didn't have that luxury as far as knowing what we really wanted to do. Some of us, basically, we just took whatever job we could find and started making money, and that's how we ended up. I'm going to save this for another video, but there's 3 ways that you can go that I have learned through life with your career once you come out of high school. You can either go the college route, you can either go the trade school route, or you could go like a lot of us, just flip the coin and start working somewhere. Send your resume out, or now these days send it through the black hole of the internet and wait for somebody to respond. But the main thing I learned many, many years ago, and there was a lot of truth to this. I had a DE teacher. Now, some of you young bucks probably don't know what DE stood for. It stood for Distributive Education. And in high school, about the 10th grade or so, 10th, 11th grade, you could take DE courses, and it would basically prepare you on working. You'd find a job most of the time, like with me, I started off in a grocery store bagging groceries at 16 years old, 17 years old. And so it prepares you. We used to have one that was called Distributive Education, and then I think we had an ICT program. Now, ICT took students and basically directed them more to trades in trade school, where DE was more retail, more office-y type of things, whatever, that case may be. But most of us, we don't really know what we want to do. And if I had some young man come up to me and say, well, what would you suggest? I would tell him this: find your passion. Find your passion. As I said, I had a DE teacher to tell me this. He told the whole class, he said, whatever you do in life, find what you love to do. Don't worry about how much money it pays. Find what you love to do, because what you do is what you've got to face Monday through Friday, 8, 9, 10 hours a day. If you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. But if you go by a job just because of the money, and you hate every minute you're there on the job, you are going to be one unhappy camper throughout your life. And there's a lot of truth to that. He said, what you do is better than how much you make. He said, he tagged this on the end of what he said, the money will come. Now, he did not say the millions would come. He said the money would come. Eventually, you will make better money. And I really thought about that over the years, and he was very right in what he said. You know, my society and my generation that I grew up in, like a lot of you all, we grew up in the credit card, get it now generation. My mom and dad grew up in the cash generation. They didn't even know what a credit card was. And so our generation was get it now, get it quick, worry about paying for it later. Or as some would say, when they catch you. But guys, if I had to give advice, the advice would be find your passion and then go work your passion. The money will come. Now, what keeps a lot of us from going and finding and doing our passion is that money. But I can tell you what I've seen over life, there's been a lot of people working jobs they hate every day. When you stop and think about that, for a lack of better words, that's a hellacious life to have to live. There were jobs that I would chase, and I thought the money. But I wasn't happy. I mean, I would come home, as the old saying is, fussing and carrying on and kicking the dog and, just have an attitude that my son and my wife had to deal with when I was a younger man. And I put them through some mess. I really did. I know I look sweet and lovable, but when you got a job that you hate, but you're stuck in it, and you just feel like, oh man, I got to go 40 years of this, this money ain't worth it, and it really isn't. It takes some life, it takes some growing. Hopefully you can learn in your younger years that lesson. To find your passion, work your passion. What is your passion? What do you love to do? It might be a trade. It might be, electrician or working with your hands in some form or fashion. It might be, with computers. It might be an office job. It might be managerial. It might be whatever your passion is. Some of us, you can have a couple of passions. Well, let me ask you a question. How many of y'all are actually working and doing your passion? Where you love getting up, going to work. It don't even feel like work. Now, you may not be making the best and biggest money, but buddy, you have a peace of mind. You love what you do. It's not, even the stress ain't bad when you love what you do. You may not be knocking down $200,000 and $300,000 a year salary. You might be only knocking down a $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 or $70,000 salary. But you see, the money isn't everything. I remember old Steve Harvey had a show on. It was almost like some of you guys would know the old Art Linkletter show where, kids say the darndest things. He had a little show on there. I forgot, Little Big Shots, I think is what it was called. And I'm going to try to get my leg crossed. Hold on, guys. When you get older, see, it's harder to stretch out the leg. But I will never forget a little boy that was on there. And he told Steve Harvey, I can't remember all the details, but basically it went something like this. He told him, so what do you want to do when you get out of school or whatever, grow up. And he said, well, my mama wants me to go to college, you know. And he said, oh man, he said, that's a good thing. You want to go to college, get something, make something out of yourself. That's wonderful. And they got talking, and she said, yeah. He said, but yeah, he said, mama said money ain't everything. Well, Steve took off on that. And, you know, Steve, as you know his background, if you know anything about some of them, you know, there are some people in our world that have gone from paupers to multimillionaires, you know. And, you know, he's a comedian. And he talks about his life living in the cars and, you know, didn't make much and this kind of thing. And grew up poor, kind of, you know, and now he's, you know, he's got the life. And he told the little boy, he said, yeah, but he said, you tell your grandmama, he said, that money sure can buy you a nice big house in a cul-de-sac and a nice big car sitting in your driveway. And, you know, everybody got a ha-ha and hee-hee out of that. And that was, you know, you almost took it as a little slam and a jab, you know. But the truth of the matter is money isn't everything. Yeah, it can buy you bigger toys. But if you're miserable, what good is it? You've heard me say on some of my videos, if you watched it or seen it, videos back. Here's the thing that I've learned and I've observed. Have you ever noticed that most of the people that are wealthy, not all, look at your entertainers, look at your movie stars, look at your sports figures. How many of those people are not happy? Now, some of them might be doing their passion. But look how many millionaires are committing suicide. They're not happy. They're ODing. I mean, you got multimillionaires marrying multimillionaires that's got multi-millions. What in the world could they be depressed about? Well, maybe some of them aren't doing their passion. They've chased the money, and they found out money don't make you happy. Because here's the thing that I would teach my grandsons. And if y'all have seen my videos, I don't mean to be repeating this, but this fits what I'm saying today. You can have all the money you can muster. Once you buy everything you want and everything you do, what's going to make you happy? You can have all the bling bling. You can have 7 cars for every day of the week, 7 custom motorcycles, and 7 yachts, and 7 airplanes. You can go around the world 5 and 6 and 7 times. For you men or for your women, the woman, whatever the case may be, if you're single, I would hope you'd be single. If you want to look at it from this angle, you can have any woman you want and have any variety you want out there. Once you have all that, what's going to make you happy? Because really, their dreams are gone. They bought everything. Some of them are just not happy. So I have to wonder, were they really doing their passion? Or were they really doing what they got sucked up in? And they chased the money. So it's going on a little bit after 19 minutes, guys. I'm gonna wrap it up. I hope this will help somebody and encourage somebody. But find your passion in life. And when you do, go after your passion. Because I didn't really realize this till I was later on. One of my passions in life was to be a singer. And I was really going after more of the Southern gospel genre. Now, you can, if you know anything about Southern gospel music, Southern gospel music, as far as making money, it's on the bottom rung to a country music or a rock music singer. Okay. Those guys are the ones that make the millions. Well, Southern gospel singers, they don't make millions. Now, there might be one or two owners out there that's been doing it for 50 years that's got a little bit in the bank. But your general gospel singers that you see, Ernie Hoss, Signature Sound, Triumphant, Tribute, Greater Vision, Gold City, all these kinds of groups out there, the Hoppers, all of them, different ones that know Southern gospel. The average singer out there, $450 a week to maybe $900 a week, depending on the level tier of the group. But I average probably about $500-$600 a week. And then that's taking everything out of your paycheck. They don't pay for your Social Security and put in your 401k and all that. You're self-employed, so everything's being deducted out of all of that. And then whatever's left, you bring it home to mama. So see, it's not the biggest pay, is it? But if that's your passion, that's what you love to do, man, you'll never work a day in your life. And you know, I was late figuring that out. So I don't want some of the young bucks to make the same mistake, and I don't want my grandboys making the same mistakes. Catch on early. Catch on early. Find your passion in life. Now, God has allowed me to do some of my passion, but not make a living at it. For 12 years, 13 years, I had a quartet. I ended up managing a quartet, owning the quartet, so to speak, but everything rolled right back into ministry. So I was able to do actually my passion, but not to make a living at it. So find a passion that you like. Don't chase the money, chase your passion first. Because the money will come. It may not be the biggest, but if you can make it, and you can make a living, and your wife is able to work, and if she's chasing her passion, buddy, I can tell you, there'll be two people married together that will be a lot happier. And you learn to live within your means with what you got. It makes a whole world of difference when you live out your passion. So I'm going to get off of here, 22 minutes. And this is my first one in my series of senior moments. Find your passion. Work your passion. And I think you'll be a whole lot better off and a lot happier. Now, I know there'll be people dropping stuff in the ash hole with all different kinds of variations and comments. I understand all that. But I hope this will help somebody. And maybe bring some thoughts to your mind. Maybe you're out there just trying to figure out. Maybe you're in between jobs. Maybe you're frustrated. Maybe you're just, I don't know what to do with my life. Well, have you tried finding your passion? What do you love to do? What are your God-given gifts and talents? And start pursuing that direction. You tried everything else. Try your passion. Until next time, relax. Have a pipe or a cigar. And don't forget to count the many blessings of God. We'll talk with you later. Bye-bye.